A very informative session of house calls we just saw there. This morning, we're speaking with a remarkable young lady by the name of Joshuanette Francis. She's going to be telling us this morning about her journey with osteoarthritis, and we are very, very eager to hear about it. Good morning, Miss Francis.
Good morning.
I know I told you this already, but the dress, I love it.
Thank you. Shout out to my Aunt Judith. She's actually a breast cancer survivor.
Oh, wow.
Twice. So she actually feeds my little fancy of clothes.
Wonderful. So thank you to her for sure. I just want to talk about who you are, Miss Francis, before we get into your journey with osteoarthritis.
So my name is Joshuanette. So just so you know, my parents wanted a boy, so they would named him Joshua. But I popped out with female organs, so I'm Joshuanette. I know, it never gets old. My friend said to me, you know, your mom still has your name saved as Joshua in your phone. I was like,
oh
really
no.
this boy, and there's actually a fun fact attached to osteoarthritis, which my name comes along. But 2 years ago, I went to the doctor, may his soul rest in peace, Dr. Ramsey, because I had some pain in my knees, and I did an x-ray, and it didn't show anything, and then I did an MRI at the hospital, and it said that I have osteoarthritis. I didn't do anything. I carried on with life as normal. I actually gained 15 pounds, so I'm now on a journey to lose 15 pounds because with arthritis, every additional pound comes on like 15 additional pounds. And I didn't do therapy. I didn't do anything. Then last year, I fell at work, and I went back, but Dr. Ramsey wasn't there, so I spoke to another doctor, and he said that I should have been doing therapy. I should have been doing follow-ups, doing MRIs, regular checks. I still did nothing. I went back to work and I fell again. So my sister had to come and get me from work. And even with that, I still did nothing. In September of last year, I recognized that my knees were hurting a bit more than normal. So I got on the phone and I said to my friend, I feel like we need to find a doctor. Because I went to another doctor here, and then I went to Dr. Gordon, I went to Dr. Singh. Everybody gave me different diagnoses, like what I should do, what I shouldn't do, and I felt like I needed to speak to a knee specialist. So I left Antigua and I went to see a knee specialist in Atlanta. Yeah. And I came back and I did 6 full weeks of therapy. Like every morning I went, I was doing therapy, I was really good, and then hotel season picked back up because added to a teacher, I actually have a second job, and I stopped therapy. Then COVID happened, like, you know, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna do some exercises because I now have time, and I fall again. And I go to the doctor and he's like, you know that you should really be taking your disease serious. And I'm like, nothing's gonna happen. And I definitely wanna give kudos to the pharmacist at Dr. Ramsey's office, Ramco Pharmacy. He said to me, you know you're taking this disease very lightly. However, as you get older, it is only going to get worse, and the reality is you may never be able to walk when you hit 40, because you're 26 now, it's already affecting you. You really need to take it seriously, and that is where I came up with Joshuanette's World. I actually stepped back from my supervisor position at the restaurant just because I want to take more time to focus on my health, and I have to go to the beach. So instead of going to one beach, I'm going to all 365 beaches on island, and I bought you a gift today. So I got this from Top Bay.
Thank you.
It's a coral. I didn't even know what it was.
Because I was eyeing it when you came in, and I was going to ask you about it.
It's Top Bay. So there is Turner's, there is Little Bay, and then there's Top Bay. So I'm actually going to search for all 365 beaches just because I have to swim. And instead of doing it traditional, we're going to one beach over and over again. I am going to the
search for all of them.
Yep.
Well, I know that my co-hosts are very jealous because I got a gift and you did not. So I'm just going to rest this right here and keep it in a safe place. But Miss Francis, I just want to backtrack a little bit with regard to osteoarthritis and exactly what it is, because I don't think the public really knows what it is.
It is a degenerative disease. So your knees look something like this, and there's some cartilage protecting your knees. And that cartilage that is in my knees is actually fading away, and eventually what happens, the bone will rub on bone. So this is what will happen. So you can now only take, there's no cure. So let me ensure I said, there is no cure for arthritis. There are researchers trying to find a cure, but there isn't a cure. The only thing the doctors can recommend that you do is take pain medication when the pain gets really bad. So the cartilage that protects your bone, as time progresses, it deteriorates. So there are many different factors. Age can be a big factor. As you get older, obviously that wears away. You could have gotten an injury, and that would be a reason. You could have a like you were born and your bones weren't formed properly. That could lead to osteoarthritis. And sex, apparently females are more prone to get arthritis than men. So I said to my mom, I think my dad was onto something when he wanted this boy, because I'm a girl and now I have arthritis and I didn't have any injuries. It's just because, and it happens, apparently it doesn't just happen to older people. The stigma is arthritis happens to older people, but it actually happens to a lot of young people around the world.
Right, because I was just about to ask you if it's normal for younger persons to be afflicted with this, because I've not heard of it before.
It's abnormal, but it's kind of normal. Because when you do the research, you recognize that there's juvenile arthritis. There's so many different types of people. Like for me, even when you go on YouTube and you start to research, like there's so much information about arthritis. And I'm only now taking it serious. So I'm a bit more aware, and I'm actually now an advocate for individuals with arthritis and the Disability Society on a whole. I actually joined that association because I feel like we all need a voice, and I can assist with being that voice to letting people know that, I don't know how disability looks. When people look at me like, you're not disabled, I'm like, I don't know how sick people act. I don't know how sick people act. I'm normally cheery, I'm happy. There are days that I do cry. I will say to anybody, my sister has been a big support. When I left from Antigua, the Saturday, I was fine. I was on Times Square the night. I took a lot of pictures. And the Sunday morning, I get to church because my friend Crystal, I love you, just so you know. The pastor was there, and he said, whatever you're going through, just go 1, 2, 3, gone. And I'm just there, and I'm just so overwhelmed. And I called my sister on the phone. I'm like, I never left Antigua and Barbuda to go anywhere. And now I finally left. I'm leaving because of my knees. I couldn't ride a bike. And they would have recommended riding a bike. So I learned how to ride a bike. And I called my other half on the phone in tears. Like, I'm never going to get this. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And there are days when you feel overwhelmed and you cry. But if you look at me, I think the biggest challenge is I don't know how to look sick.
Well, you're saying you don't know how to look sick, but my thing is the takeaway is that you're so positive. Right? I'm sure it's inspiring others to say whatever they're going through, you always have to at least try. And yes, you'll have bad days, because I was going to ask you, about the challenges that you are facing from a day to day. Has it inflicted you in any other way?
The biggest change, I said to my friends, I teach. So I am accustomed to wearing high heel shoes every day because the boys are taller than me, and I feel like, I don't know, it's me. I feel like when you're a lady and you're in a high heel shoes, you stand, your chest goes up a bit higher and you feel so great. I can no longer do that. And no doctor said not to wear a high heel. That was on me personally, because I felt like the days that I wore high heel shoes, my knees would hurt more than normal. So last school year, I started the school year in high heels and I ended the school year without. I can no longer just run up and down the stairs. There are days when my knees swell. Actually, if you go on my Instagram today, I'm going to show you a picture of how my two knees, they look completely different. You have to change the way you eat. You have to change a lot. But I tell somebody, I have to go to the beach. Okay, I'm just going to go to all 365. I have to eat. Let me just do something that's fun. You make it more interactive because it gets tiring. It gets boring. You feel stressed out, but it is what it is. You can't change it, right?
Exactly. And the thing is, you were saying that, okay, your mom and dad wanted a boy and then they got a girl. But I think that there's a lot to say with regard to your purpose, because you're here now and yes, you do have this disease, but quite clearly an advocate and now educating other people about the disease itself and what they can do and being a positive ray of sunshine, I think, because I'm feeding off of your energy right now. Right? Now, let's speak a little bit about now. I know that you want to make a difference. You're doing the 365 beaches, the tour, to make sure that you get to everyone. How many of them have you done so far?
I have 200 beaches recorded. So what?
I just rotate the same 4 beaches.
I know. So what my friend and I did was we got on our phones and we just started to write down the different beaches that we know. And what normally happens, you know that down by Hawksville, there are like 4 beaches. However, we only know the one in the front. Even when you go to behind Jennings, Hermitage, there are like 7 beaches behind there, but you would only go to the one in the front. So we're just tracking them, and what's happening, I went to the museum and I got some different research. I would have reached out to Raynell Carroll, she's in the tourism ministry, to find out what beaches they have recorded, because it's a lot. And it's not a 1-year project. I'm hunting for all 365 over 3 years.
Over 3 years. And so we hope that at the end of the 3 years, you have the whole list for everybody
To go.
how we can get there. Just create the path, because I know that I would definitely love to see a lot more beaches.
Pretty sure you've never been to the beach that I went got that from.
Girl. But now that I have this, I have to go.
Yes.
So, and I know, of course, that you want to raise funds, you want to raise money for the awareness. Tell me a little bit about that.
So in May of next year is Arthritis Month, so I'm going to be having our annual Walk for a Cause. So it's going to happen the third Sunday, and it's not a Saturday or Sunday just because my mom is a Seventh-day Adventist and my mom is a big part, so the walk has to happen on a Sunday. So it would be the third Sunday in every month annually, and all the proceeds would go towards finding a cure for arthritis, because there are many different foundations around the world that actually have walks for a cause. I hope I eventually get to have a bike ride, because I can now ride a bike. So you can ride for a cause, you can do cycling for a cause, you can swim for a cause, and it's the Arthritis Foundation, because researchers are trying to find a cure. And I said to somebody, even if I don't get to use this cure and someone behind of me gets to use it, it's definitely going to be worth it.
Definitely worth it. In closing, any advice that you have for persons who are feeling inflicted by this particular disease or anything else that they're feeling?
Live. Make memories. I feel like my YouTube channel is that I'm documenting my life, just because I'm sharing my story, because I want to let somebody else who's going through something know that you are not alone. There are millions of us, there are thousands of us going through the same thing, and the way you look at it changes your life. I said to somebody I have arthritis, but guess what? Because of my knees, I went to Atlanta, I went to New York, I was in Charlotte. I did a lot last year. I learned how to ride a bike at 26 because of my knees. I am now a part of a bigger group, the Disability Association here and the CBR. This is a program with community outreach development. So they were going to have a link up in Antigua this year, and that's why I'm actually going to the restaurants on island also, because they want to know where individuals with disabilities can go. Apparently, when they were going to come this year, they would have only been able to go to Jolly Beach, just because Jolly Beach is the only resort that actually has that full wheelchair access. So I'm now on a path to find the different restaurants and the different activities that people can do. It's a whole adventure. It's a whole adventure, and I'm excited. And I am excited about it.
And as you said, it's Joshuanette's world,
Yep.
right? And I just want to thank you so much and encourage you. I think that you're a champion in your own right, and you're not letting this hold you back. You're encouraging others to, you know, be positive and to ensure that, as you said, you live every day. And I'm looking forward to the list of beaches. And also for next year, when we have the Walk for the Cause to raise money for arthritis. All right. So thank you so much, Miss Francis. Thank you for my gift. And I hope you have a fantastic day, and thank you for chatting with us on the couch.
No problem.
All right. That was Miss Francis, as I said, a champion in her own right, patient with osteoarthritis. Still to come, we have a representative from the UE Student Guild joining us on the couch. We'll be chit-chatting with them here on Antigua Barbuda Today. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.